if that does happen, you're going to be seeing a Hayabusa that won't be shy with using the shadow kill once he gets to see the Selena. So we're actually seeing a little bit of a throwback to Season 8 priorities. Back in Season 8, if one team gets Selena, they want to make sure the other team does not get Jawhead. So just a little bit of throwback, and yeah, just seeing the Hayabusa again, the bands of the Jawhead Selena, my mind goes back to those days.
Yeah, Season 8, man, that was my first season.
Oh, right, it was.
You know, and I remember constantly kind of seeing that battle between those two picks, and that's one of the things, though, as this Vexana does get picked up here, is it's still risk or reward for Selena. We've seen some of the priority from other teams go for this, and you have to really be able to play around it.
What?
And then it's another debut pick. It's a Novaria, but this is also a signature pick for Lancey that we also saw last season, where he was getting some insane numbers statistically.
You know what? I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy for TNC Pro Team this season.
What?
Selena, Novaria, TNC in 5. I don't mind. So,
TNC in
trust
5?
it. Trust it.
What's 5
Trust
mean?
in them. Trust in them right now. They will make this work. It's risky, but they will make this work.
So Red
Because our hands are aligned and we're saying TNC in 5. Is that what that means?
No. So wait, assuming Renmar, this is the best of 7 series, you're actually giving one game to Omega.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
All right. You know what? So that we don't have to explain it. TNC in 3.
I still don't know what it means. What does that mean, Renmar?
In 3 games. In 3 games.
Okay.
TNC in 3 games.
I'm sure people at home, too, were like, dude, what? Are we putting our hands in and we're going to be like, all right, TNC in 5. 1, 2, 3, TNC. You know, but anyway.
Selena Novaria, that's Poke, that is Vision. This is a throwback to when Popol and Koopa Selena. Again, the idea of MPL Philippines Season 8, except at that time it was Selena paired up with something a little bit tankier. Koopa and Popol were a little bit tankier, but this is so risky for TNC, man. Like, as much as I want to say, hell yeah, this will work, the analyst brain tells me, bro, they got to chill.
You got to put the analyst brain aside, look at the index, and just say, you know what, if you want to rise, you got to be a little risky. And that's what TNC is doing for Game 1 with this lineup. You get one last look here at what they're bringing to the table. This is crazy, but it might work for TNC. And now on the other side, can Smart Omega bring a Game 1 victory under their belt? We're jumping into the land of Dawn here. TNC and Smart Omega taking a look at this. I mean, it's been a minute since we've seen a Boxer Jungle.
Yeah, and it's Yaoi on the Selena. Wow, how they're going to be faring against a Badang and Vexana partnership in the row mid. High burst, high crowd control might be tough to get Vision traditionally, so you'll have to rely on the traps to get Vision in the center of the map. While in the EXP lane, Lord JM will have to handle an Arlot. Lord JM, I hope he looks to be aggressive, because that is not a favorable lane for an Arlot, and he could definitely be more impactful in the map if he plays this well.
You know, I'm actually happy for Lewis, because I mentioned this a while ago. I want to see the proactive XP laners coming in from the Cebuano himself. Arlot has now been in the picture, so we can expect a lot of game-changing plays from Lewis himself. And paired up with the rotation of the Badang and the Vexana. We've seen this a lot yesterday, and it works. The Badang Vexana.
There's a lot of crowd control from this lineup for Smart Omega. And the only thing is, you know, how are you actually going to utilize those ultimates? You've got Chaknu with the Badang in his hands. You know, you got that great just utilizing of even the Fist Crack. It does good enough damage, but just using getting the walls off, and then you have a swooping effect, right, with the final slash for this Arlot. I'm wondering how they're going to layer those when it comes to the team fights, especially later on. But it does give them a lot of threat around the objectives. Lord JM?
Okay. First initiation forced out by Omega, but Lord James fine. He doesn't care. He has the mobility.
And again, Omega reading the laning advantage that ACC will have against an Arlot, their first major rotation to actually help out their EXP laner. They weren't able to threaten Lord JM in any considerable fashion, so TNC Pro Team have started the turtle, and it looks like Andoria, though, will be able to get there in time to contest it.
Okay. Chaknu got hit by the arrow. A lot of skills connecting, but Chaknu was able to still escape, and it looks like Omega, will they be able to contest?
Oh, wow.
The ultimate coming in from Lanzi connected, plus, but still, Okir, he got the turtle.
That's wild. Andoryu got to press retro. Zaida didn't even press his, and Okir somehow was the one able to get the turtle. This is it's a crazy start, man.
Make sense. That's what I feel like that's been the theme from draft to now. You know, maybe that's going to be the theme of this matchup, but right now it's the fact that they were able to go ahead and get themselves that turtle for Smart Omega off of that. And, you know, you saw how devastating an arrow this early on in the game can be, even for Chaknews, who, again, he's got, I believe he had the Tenacity emblem. So, you know, the fact that he's able to go ahead and not die is good for them. But then where do you go from here, right? You already got your first objective. You build up from there. Your XP lane seems to be the dead lane right now. It's just going to be fine. Do they make a play here, Chaknew?
Oh, fist crack, just to make sure that TNC
still
was
alive.
able to get a kill. And actually, Andorio is the one who counters it out and gets Lancey in the middle. What is happening?
That's exactly what we were talking about. Once Andoriu's level 4 and he will hunt down the Selena and the Novaria with the shadow kills. He does not have to worry about a big beefy roamer to soak up damage because they don't have that. They have Zyda at the center of the map who was placed forward, who wasn't able to take down Chaknew, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing how TNC will make this work because I'm still scratching my head.
Yeah, he's, again, that's twice now that Chaknew hasn't gone down. And these arrows from Yawi eventually are going to be a problem that they have to deal with. So some of the early game is going to work in favor for Smart Omega, and a lot of it has to deal with, again, think about this. The way this interaction works with Novaria and also having the Selena, you get so much vision. Like, this is your vision game for game 1. There's no way you lose in vision for TNC. So throughout the game, that's the strength with the lineup that they have. So even if they just kind of, you know, calm down a little bit in the early game, they know that they have one big advantage, and that's vision. But can they win these skirmishes and team fights? They are the ones to start up this turtle next, and Smart Omega will have to get in positioning. Lewis this time around, also, they have to be careful of that final slash as Andoriu now makes his way for this turtle fight as they get ready.
Okay, Andoriu already picked up his Hunter Strike, so again, he can replicate. Just go for the backline. Lewis goes in with the final slash, prepared up with Chaknew's fist crack. And Zyda's the first man down, and Andoriu picks up the turtle.
And again, this is so much more difficult for TNC Pro Team to execute. It looks so easy right now for Omega.
Okay, they're just trying to go Chaknew once again with the flicker fist break. Make sure, Lord JM, even if you have high mobility up against 4, oh man, you can't out-sustain that.
Again, it's so hard right now for Zyda since he doesn't have a roamer protecting him. He has vision, sure, from the traps, but he's going to be the guy that Omega will see first. He'll just be standing there, getting the vision, holding the objectives, while there's only so much TNC with the lineup that they have right now can do when Omega decides to jump in with Luis's final slash, the combos coming in as well from Yawi.
And that's the thing I was pointing out earlier, you know, Andoriu goes in. He does use the retry, but not going to be able to follow up. You saw that earlier. Lewis sweeps in with the final slash, and then the way Chaknew lines up his fist break is based off that final slash. So that's something that every time an objective comes up that TNC does have to watch out for, even if they have a vision. Chaknew won't land that one. Multiple members here, though, for Smart Omega. Oh, Lord JM just checking things out. Andoriu is going to be fine. Also, meanwhile, this whole time, you have your gold laners just doing their thing, farming up. And that's what Big J needed this game in comparison to what he had last week.
Yeah, I actually like the confidence coming in from Jome after picking up the Hunter Strike. Transitions already to a Sky Piercer, so they know that they're in control. Zyda going up against Lewis, though. But here comes Ukir and Chaknew. They're going to finally pick up a kill onto the Cebuano.
Okay, good thing Andoriu didn't decide to commit any final slash, and Omega wasn't in the right position to just continue that assault. They were finally able to take down one. It is just Luis, though. But you see how expensive it is for TNC to just get one at this point. Question is, I wonder if it will get to a portion of the game where the damage of the poke from the Novar and the Selena might actually just be too much to handle for either the Arlot or the Badang, that TNC will build that advantage that way.
Okay.
Again, playing this for the turtle. Andoriu.
Wiki Shadow kills Zyda out to retrieve Andoriu, so 2 turtles will be secured. One turtle will be secured by TNC, but here comes the counter attack once again. They want to go for more, forcing out Andoriu to use the Shadow to retreat. So TNC still slowly, they're crawling back.
Yeah, one thing I have to remind us is that this is actually Lancey's signature Novaria back in MPL Philippines Season 13 during the height of what could have been a much deeper run in the playoffs for the then Minana Evo squad. It was Lancey's Novaria that was frequently respected by their opponents.
And even when he played it from time to time in 14, right? Season 14.
Yes.
It was a hero that a lot of people just knew that if Lancey had it, there's always that gameplay making capability, even later on in the game, and that's what we're talking about just so again, with maybe the poke gets to a point where it's too much because we know how that scaling goes for Novaria. And they might just play around that timer, Lord JM.
We get shadow kill onto Lord JM. Pops his vengeance. Has to shadow out because he's not going to be able to take down Lord JM. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Lewis catches a final slash. And on the right target, Kozen finally falls down.
Oh, the fact that... No, I'm going to say that was more of a Luis thing than it was an error on the side of Kozen to be placed that deep. It was Luis able to display him really well. You see that the Arlot was actually forced to commit the flicker to make that play. Dominant size is the first item for Luis, so he's going to be going for the tanky build Arlot. While for the CC, very standard so far with the War Axe and the Brute Force Breastplate. Looking at the Zyda Baksha jungle, it's anti-Kiras Rush since it is mostly physical skill damage from Omega.
Oh, good catch from Oak here. Paired up with a wee shadow kill from Endoryu to bring down Lord JM. Here comes Big J making the play. Shaknu soaking up the damage, but Zyda as well. And it looks like the clash will stop here, but they want to go for more. Now it's going to connect onto Lewis. That's a trade TNC is willing to take.
See, that's the problem there, and that team fight showcased it perfectly. If you stay in those areas, stay in those fights, then eventually TNC just gets space and they fire off from the back end, and it's so hard to kind of play against the constant dodging of arrows or the shots from the Novaria.
Yeah, and you also see that Yaoi's reading Chaknu very well. His rotations with traps and him being not afraid to get vision, usually like how a traditional roamer tank would like to do it. So he knows that he has a dash, he can transform, he has the flicker as well in case it gets a little bit too hairy and he needs to get away. But Yaoi's traps and abyssal arrows have been on point to reading Chaknu, and that's what sort of has kept things level. The fact that Chaknu cannot get into the Mamba positioning as much as he would want to.
Yeah, and apart from that, Lancy's Astral Echo, the moment they cast it, and it connects onto 4, Yaoi's going to have a good time just casting the Abyssal Arrows because the hitbox will increase. So TNC has full control over this first Lord, but it looks like Omega, will they be able to strike back?
They're going to hold it here. Half health for now. Omega trying to get in positioning. Big J clearing out that mid.
Wow! And there you have it, Astral Echo. Like a red carpet onto Omega, bringing down Lewis and Shaknu. Now they're trying to go for the engagement. Kozen picks up Big J. Still no casualties for TNC. Lord still hasn't been secured, and Endoryu is still alive for Omega. They can actually make a play with the shadows to try and go for the steal.
They might try to make a play, Lord JM. Quite low Zyda too. I don't know if they can actually commit to this just yet.
Yeah, Omega cannot get close. And this is what I was talking about. 5 kills per side, TNC in 5. That's what I meant.
TNC
and that's when they got the Lord. They're making the lineup work. I told you. I mean, I doubted it, not gonna lie. I was very skeptical. But once you see everything layering together, Lancy's comfort with the Novaria, I feel like, alongside the Yaoi's great timings of the traps and Abyssal Arrows, is what's making this work.
Hashtag TNC in 5.
Hashtag TNC.
If they win this, then we've got the answer we're looking for. Because right now they have this play with the Lord making its way down the bottom. Arrows are going to fly.
Oh, plus the Astral Echo, Astral Spear, a lot of projectiles just crashing down onto Endoryu to bring him down, but they're going to counterattack with a kill onto Yaoi, a roamer for a jungler. It's well worth it for TNC.
They're not letting Omega get into position. They lost Yaoi, but they got a push down bottom. Their minion waves are still pushing in. I think Omega's sort of like seeing an alternate version of what it was like to go up against the chip of Team Falcons Philippines, wherein they're just wary about the vision and the turnaround factor that a chip provides, except this time, it's the Astral Echo and the ability set of a Novaria plus a Selena. And he's been low-key here, but Zyda has also been a very important part of this lineup because he's the main tank. He's the guy who's just there. It's like, hit me, please. I do this for my team.
He's the sandbag,
He's the sandbag.
And it's funny because some people were wondering when we came into this. I think it's still developing the meta right now for the season, but
for sure,
is it going to still be a lot of the assassins, or do the utility jungler heroes now have a space in the meta? And this is one of the showcases that, yes, it does. Now, I know some people might have a little PTSD from yesterday, seeing the Barretts, maybe, but hey, this Baksha has ended up working pretty well.
Yeah, look at that. Double Enchanted Talisman for the Novaria Selena. No wonder they're just constantly tossing out all their abilities.
I mean, even if Joma, he likes having a lot of stacks, but wait a minute, Endoryu goes in there after Yaoi.
Good flicker.
Oh, good flicker. What just happened? Now TNC still in full control. Now they're trying to contest for the purple buff. Lewis goes in with the final slash, gonna connect. Here comes a vengeance from Lord JM, plus the fist crack coming in from Chaknu, but he's still alive! And Kozin gets a kill. Going up against 4, he's that strong. Pops his Wind of Nature, and TNC finally strikes again.
They are deceptively tanky. Lord JM, once he has his vengeance up, and Zyda as well, just standing there, they can actually soak up damage, and they're supplementing Kozin. That's what they needed to do. It's just a very unique way of thinking, how do we supplement our gold laner? It's bombard them with vision and damage.
Dario, again, gonna try with a Wiki Shadow Kill. Luckily, 5 members of the Phoenix Army was there to share out the damage coming in from the Wiki Shadow Kill. Now 3.7k gold lead for TNC. 7 seconds before the Lord spawns. I mean, you have to expect, I mean, you have to ask Lewis a lot. You know, just keep on doing those final slash. But again, if you catch the wrong target like Lord JM, even paired up with the ultimate coming in from Badang, it's going to be hard. But Zyda, okay.
Chaknu gets stunned.
Oh, Chaknu gonna get stunned. How will Omega respond? Because so far, Kozin.
Oh my
Look at the Astral Spear damage to Chaknu, forcing out the Mamba to go home.
He's going to be fine, though. Again, he'll be able to reset. They should be able to at least... So, whoa, another one!
Man, Yawi, at this point, the Astral Echo wasn't even casted, but he's making sure that all the arrows are connecting to the right targets.
There's so many things flying. Omega's just like, guys, how do we position ourselves?
It's a mini game within a game at this point for Smart Omega. It is going to be a reset on that Lord, and Doru goes up top. They get this information that he goes up and clears. So this could be a window for TNC to go ahead and start putting the pressure here. He's going to make his way, though. They hold it at less than half health. Chaknu might look for it.
Oh, and it looks like Zyda will secure the Lord for the Phoenix Army. Well-executed play from these 5 young men.
Well, we posed the question earlier, will it get to the point where the long-range pokes of TNC will just be too much to handle? Apparently the answer was just a simple, hell yeah.
Hey, yes.
Hey, yes. Guardian's Helmet, Athena's Shield for the Baksha, so your tank is built. I like how Kozin actually built the Malefic Gun quite fast. He knows that there's so much space between him and the rest of Omega, when he's not diving too close to Omega, that he can just safely hit from a distance. So TNC, this is an incredibly well thought out lineup and strategy that have just shocked Omega.
Again, right now, they're getting to go ahead and assault the base of Smart Omega. That charge in from the Lord. They should be able to make work on at least one of these turrets right now. They are holding it together.
Oh! Lord JM! Vengeance up against 4, just dancing around in the middle, and just like that, Lancy erases the living legend Chaknu in 1 Astral Spear.
And why did Luis use the final slash before anything happened?
I think he was anticipating the jump from Zyda.
That wasn't anticipation, that was overthinking.
Overthinking.
As a fellow overthinker, I relate.
Yep. Sometimes you trip over yourself and it doesn't work out, you know? But it's... oh, there it is.
Okay, we got one.
He didn't overthink that,
Nice
and this
combo.
time gonna find Lancy for the combo and gonna survive. Omega still finding ways to come back from this game. They do, however, lose 1 inhibitor turret up top, but still, they're continuing to minimize the lead that TNC is making.
Lewis just heard us, and he's like, yeah. I'm gonna make up for that one. I'm gonna Bowie that one. And he did.
Bowie, guys.
Bowie.
Bowie.
All right, gets the purple buff here for Andoru. So they have been fighting tooth and nail for a lot of just the space around the map. We take a look at this. Divine Glaive's now picked up by Ukir. We haven't talked too much about Ukir. Ukir has actually done really well despite everything that's happening, because you got to remember, they're at a disadvantage when it comes to the range.
Yes.
Because when Ukir, like literally all he can do is drop down the Eternal Guard from the range for the most part, or at least get a little bit of damage on. But they have to constantly watch out for those arrows, for the astral balls coming through. You know, it's just
Astral ball.
astral balls. You gotta watch out for those, man.
You have 2 Astral Balls here, nice.
Yeah. I looked at your guys' head. I'm sorry. That's the first thing that came to mind.
We get it. We're bald, okay? But yeah, well, Ukir has been doing a good job of being the counter-engage for Lord JM and Yawi's entry, even when Zyda needs to get close and hold down the front line. So that's when the Deathly Grasp, the Cursed Blast, and the Eternal Guard of the Vexana comes in big time, and I think that's where TNC is going to start feeling the pain now of how difficult it might be to siege with their lineup. Yes, they can still continue applying the pressure, but you saw with one combo from Luis, if TNC were a little bit more mispositioned, they would have lost just more than Lancey, and it would have been a devastating loss. So Omega needs to hold on to that fact if they want to turn this around, that they can turn this around, because it's only a 2.6, 2.7 difference in gold lead.
Lewis is going to be that guy here. He's got Flicker in 2 seconds. He's got the ultimate. They take a couple shots again, but it's up to him. And Chaknu takes an arrow.
Wow, again.
They commit.
Oh!
Oh my goodness, Lancey! Blast down Chaknu out of the map, plus the kill onto Lewis. And goodbye indeed, but TNC will still go for the Lord.
Yeah, wow, Lancey got Chaknu with that Star Shatter right in the Astral, bro.
Right in, he did, man. You can't, I mean, at that point, you can't get out of that one, you know? And part of this, too, as I was saying, is, you know, Lewis and Chaknu had to be those guys. There was no opportunity for them to be those guys because of all the arrows and the traps and everything else thrown at them.
Yeah, and the thing is, Lewis and Chaknu are actually just doing their job. I mean, they have to try and zone out. They have to provide information for Omega. They just can't play passively, especially up against the lineup of TNC. And if they get the Lord, Omega's going to have a hard time trying to clear out the minions. So you pretty much can't blame them for how the Astral Spheres, the Abyssal Arrows is connecting.
The power of arrows and friendship. I like how TNC Pro Team doubled down on this thought that, you know what, it's week 2, day 2, it's our 3rd match. Let's go wild. Let's see what we can do to stretch out the limits of this meta. We've already been saying how this meta is starting to get super predictable and boring, and here comes TNC.
Oh, okay, Luis with a catch, plus paired up with the Eternal Guard coming in from Ukir. This time they're going to pick up again also Lord and JM, but the inhibitor turret down bottom has now been exposed. Lord up top for TNC. They do, however, still have 4 members, but it looks like they will take the discipline route and wait for the minion waves in the middle.
This is what Renmar was basically saying, you know, the sieging potential with this lineup is going to be a little difficult. They do conceal. They want this purple buff. They're not going to get it. Does Chaknu want to make a play? Okay. It looked like that they might have actually wanted to try to go ahead and make a play based off that they had the numbers advantage, but ultimately, Smart Omega can do this probably one more time, even if that next Lord goes to TNC, just because, again, if they're able to catch someone, and most likely they will when it comes to the base defense because of the fact that you have a final slash and you can try to scoop someone up from TNC.
Oh, Winter Crown!
Go!
We got away!
Yeah, we
got away. And now the chase is on for TNC. They're not going to contest for the orange buff anymore, but look at just the fast hands of Yawi. I mean,
that was cool.
You spent the entire game just making sure the Abyssal Arrows will connect on the dot, and now you have enough time to execute those kinds of outplays up against Adorium. Yawi, where have you been all my life, Yawi?
All your life?
All your life?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not that long.
Yeah.
You know, you're quite young, so...
Still a young man.
Still a young man, still
who has
young
lost
man.
all his hair.
I mean, I said that because, you know, as a roamer myself, I really look up to these kinds of roamers. Yawi.
You relate, you relate.
I relate.
I've never seen you play Selena.
I honestly can't relate because I also can't execute a Winter Crown play like that.
You can. Just have a little bit more faith in yourself.
You just got to prep it. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Okay, fine, guys.
You just prep the Winner's Crown. You've never done that before?
You know, you guys, you make it sound so easy.
It is, bro.
It is. You've never done a 1-second quick item swap while also keeping track of everything else?
While cooking rice?
I don't know.
Ian. Still a lot to learn.
Still a lot to learn, young guy.
Fully built are the Selena and Novaria. No wonder why Omega's just getting peppered with nukes from afar. The last time we saw an item check onto Lancey, he has fully built. Oh, this could be big. But Luis, by the way, he's been massive in the past few sequences. His flicker final slashes have been very big for Omega in terms of stopping TNC in what they want to do. But TNC's been watching their positioning. They still have to really watch out for. If Luis is even more patient and he waits for the full commit dive from TNC before he uses the final slash, and then he lets it out at the perfect time, TNC's just going to feel the world of pain.
This is the pain right here. The fact that Jome is so low on the damage. Again, Winter Crown?
Again.
Can
Two
they get that out?
consecutive Winter Crown plays from Yawi. Now the Astral Echo is going to connect on to 4. The chase is on. Zaida leading the way for the Phoenix Army. Luis counters out with a final slash, but Lord James just pops his vengeance on the other hand. Posen going right after the backline, and the Clash will disengage, but a lot of resources have been expended on the side of TNC.
Every ultimate.
Yeah, that's so much for Lord JM only, but TNC, to be fair, also used a lot of their ultimates. So these two teams are going into this without a lot of their key abilities. It's coming back quickly, though, for Omega and TNC. Ultimate should be back online, except for the Eternal Guard of the Vexana.
This is tough. Again, what angle do you go from if you're Smart Omega? Because right now they just might have to watch this get taken.
Oh, Chakno will he attempt to go for the steal alongside Andori. Andori goes in with a shadow, but Lancy secures the lore. Now Omega's desperate to try and go for a kill as Zyda just is tanking up the damage coming in from the Rhapsody of Jome.
Zyda was drifting in front of the face of Jome, sidestepping all of the Rhapsodies as much as he could, pulling attention. That was pretty funny, not gonna lie. But that was cool. That was a cool funny.
That's, you know, that's like one of those things you want to see animated, you know,
Yeah.
basically at that point. But and that's the thing, like Jome, he has his itemization. Like, look at what he has, but he really has not been able to get in the range to fight on this Granger, and that's one of the disadvantages, and now they're going to have to clear out this Lord here.
Okay. Lord marching in. Another beautiful Astral Echo from Lancy. And TNC, let's see, how are they going to end this? Because so far, Omega's doing a good job trying to clear out the minions. On the other hand, they're going to be able to shut down Oak here. And now the clash is still going on. Zyda jumps into the middle as Kozin just free hitting up against two. Lord JM is going to fall down. And another win for the Phoenix Army.
They are rising even further. TNC in 5.